LRBAquatics.com. Boom. Hello, world. How's it going, everybody? So, yesterday's video, some of you guys may have heard me talk about coming over to WaterForest's house. Michael Sizemore. We're here. We're live for you guys, so you guys can ask all the questions you want. This is absolutely insane. Here's Michael. Say, hey, what's up?
What's up?
He's the mastermind behind all these scapes. It's insane. So you only seen a bit of one tank so far. We've got this tank back here. We got this tank over here. We got all these bowls. There's a couple other tanks in the other room, bonsai. So there you guys go. You saw all the tanks. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And yeah, it was fun hanging out. No, I'm just kidding. So we will go through these tanks with you. Michael agreed to go ahead and tell us a bit about them all. So we'll go through them all and check them all out. Like, these are freaking sweet. So hello, everybody in the chat. And if you guys got questions related to this as we go through it, feel free to ask. If you're asking unrelatable questions, then it doesn't help me much. But man, look at the quality and crispness of this tank. Freaking sweet. I mean, just soak that in, people. I really love this light too. This is a twin star. It has like fogged lens over it so it doesn't blind you. I thought that was really neat.
It also helps to blend the colors so you get a better effect in the tank for the plants. It helps it helps the plants pop.
They are definitely popping, that's for sure. Like, I've never seen Vuce really get this red. Look at the Reneki. That stuff is on fire. Hygrophila pinnatophyta.
Trying to train that on the wood.
And I love this little touch up here with a succulent coming out. Cool, let's get a top shot. How's that? Oh, that is nice. This is just eye candy. Like, I don't even think we have to talk. I think people just enjoy looking at this. Straight eye candy. Very, very beautiful. Now, how about some of these stems? What's this one back here?
The red stems in the back. That's your Rotella Sunset.
Sunset, okay. And what else?
Sunset, yeah.
It looks like limnophilia.
It's a limnophilia mini.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had that one for a few years now. It's a nice filler plant in between other plants. Softens it up.
Nice. He says, how do you get it so clear? Asked Leo7.
Clear? The clarity?
Yeah.
I guess it's more the filtration and your tank husbandry, keeping everything clean.
So where's your filter? There it is. A little high door over there is what you're using.
Time on keeping things wiped down. The high door filters are great. Do really well for me for what I'm doing. No complaints there. All three tanks run on high doors.
I think these are very beneficial to it as well.
They add a lot of oxygen to the water too.
Yeah, and just getting that biofilm off the top. Surface skimmers are great.
You know, and injecting CO2, pressurized CO2 into the tank, it's definitely a must.
Yeah, and I noticed you have it, you're saying that you have it linked into your canister filter there.
The atomizer through Greenleaf Aquatics just breaks it down, breaks the CO2 down into really fine bubbles, feeds through the canister, and it acts as a reactor and then flows back into the tank. The 7-Up looks not too favorable with a lot of different people.
Yeah, with all the bubbles.
Yeah, the constant bubbles throughout the tank.
But you do have one of these algae inhibitors which sprays bubbles, but I think those are really cool.
Yeah, they are cool, the effect it provides, yeah. It's a lot of hype about algae prevention, but then again, maybe not so much, because the additional oxygen they add to the water column is also beneficial in trying to balance your tank. High O2, match your CO2 you're pumping in, you find the equilibrium, and then everything just takes off.
And Terry McDonald asks, is this RO or hard water?
This is reconstituted RO. I start with a 0 TDS, and I pre-mix my water in a holding barrel, and I bring it up to about 120 to 25 TDS before I add to the tanks. And all the tanks, usually what you'll see, usually run about 218 for my TDS, and pH around 7.2, right at maybe 7.1 sometimes, depending on what I've got in the tank. Like the Ryu stone in this tank will harden it up a little bit. It'll be a little bit harder.
So is that the case with all your tanks then?
As far as RO and all that?
Yeah, your parameters. Do you keep all your tanks like that?
Yeah, it's the easiest way. Everything has seemed to adjust well. I don't have a problem with any type of fish I keep. And then as far as the shrimp that I have that actively breed and do very well in that low TDS.
Oh, here.
You know, that
they did mention that you got to be mindful. We got to be mindful of the microphone. So probably with you standing back, it's probably kind of hard for them to hit.
Hear me too well.
So you might want to stay close to me, bud. And yeah, looking sweet. And how many tanks do you have?
I guess it depends if you're asking planted or regular tanks or
all together.
I guess there's
vases and anything else. I'd count those as tanks.
There's 7 here plus 11, 14.
14, nice.
14 tanks that have plants in them.
Nice.
Of course, we're not going to count the empties for obvious reasons.
Right. So what about this tank? What's going on in here? This is looking nice. A lot of the mini pearl or coral moss, is that what they call it?
Some people call it mini pilia. It's been referred to 3 or 4 different types of names, I guess. There's a few different types of mosses scattered throughout. Many physidans. There's some weeping moss in there, as well as some pilomoss.
Weeping moss.
Yeah, it's all scattered through. And then there's some shrimp in there. They're back in the overgrowth. They love to stay within the moss.
I love how you did the crumble bits here. It kind of works into the scape.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget about the softness. Yeah, I like that word for it.
Softens the edge.
Yeah, soften that edge. It makes it look a lot more natural.
Not so distracting to your eye. It isn't. Your eye doesn't stay focused on any one area of the tank. You want your eye bouncing around the tank when you're looking at it. Overly focusing at one point tends to be distracting.
Right. Very, very nice. See, I think that's all for the questions. And this tank, this thing is a jungle.
Full of hydrocotyle Japan, I believe, if I pronounce that right. Probably 9 or 10 different types of bucophilandra, and some moss scattered around, and a massive narrow leaf fern there in the top of the tank.
Yeah, that thing's getting big.
Which this one's going to come down soon. I'm going to rescape this one, and I'll be moving the fern on, so I may end up doing an auction in one of the Facebook auction groups. So anybody gets interested in it and has questions about it, or there's always plenty of baby ferns that are attached that can be pulled away.
And what auction group is that? Where would they find that?
Be Planet Tank Auctions on Facebook.
On Facebook? So is there like a name for it? And I know you have a group as well too, don't you?
Yeah, WaterForest on Facebook as well.
Yeah, so if you guys want to ask him questions and pick his ear and all that other stuff, check out WaterForest Aquatics on their Facebook group page. I know you got quite a bit of members, don't you now?
Yeah, we're just under 4,000 members at the moment. That's the
Nice.
older
That's
controller I was talking to you about for the
Yeah, the
Chihiros.
Chihiros, Doctor.
Like I said, it provides more oxygen to the tank than it does anything else. And it probably ought to be just called the oxygenator, I guess.
Right,
That's
yeah,
how you would
it's
say
great
it.
for oxygenating the water. It's like
Yeah.
kind of like doing a water change real quick.
Yeah, it's
We got a super chat says from Gareth says, can we get a plantless LRB? Definitely. Thank you so much for the super chat, and I think we could do that. Start running through some of these plant names. So let's run through them real quick. We don't know the name of the view shear. This is the A. Renecki.
yeah, the mini Alternanthera reinecki.
Oh, so that is the mini version. Okay.
Yeah, it grows taller in the shaded area, and a little more compact in the an area that receives more light.
Okay. And back here we got the cardinal.
The Lobelia cardinalis in the back there, the round leaf. Is that what we're looking at?
Yep, that would be that one. And then this one is this isn't a regular Java, is it?
No, it's the Philippine fern.
Okay.
Get it from a good friend of mine, Hantron, that does sell these plants as well. Great looking fern.
And he is growing algae too.
Yeah, look at all that algae.
I had to give him heck for it.
It's
like,
just-
dude, you're growing algae here. What's going on? He's like, you know what that is,
Hey, if
right?
you
I'm
don't-
like, yeah, I know what
If
that
you got a planted tank, you're growing algae somewhere. That's for sure.
Right.
There's not a planted tank out there that's not gonna have some algae in it somewhere. So
And my mic is over here on this
that
side of the photo.
yeah,
Okay.
I got you.
So, I know they can hear me a lot better. When you're kind of far away from it, really, you gotta boast out a bit. What about this Anubias? What's that? Is that the chili?
That's the Anubias pangolino.
Okay.
Yep, that's been doing really well.
Is that what all that is?
There's a Nana Petite in there in the mix, and
kinda
then some
down
more
there,
pangolino in there as well. Great little micro Anubias type.
What's this? Green.
That is
Parva?
yeah, Cryptocrine parva.
Okay.
Just kind of real slow grower, but it softens up the edge there between the hardscape and the taller plants.
Instead
It's
of
much
just having
softer.
the red there and
Yeah.
it just being, it
Yeah,
gives
you're-
it that contrast and everything. Very, very beautiful.
Keep your eye moving when you're
Yeah.
doing this. Think about it ahead of time as you're growing your plants in. Always be looking all over the tank. Never focused at one point. if you
Right,
can.
right. So you look in the tank and you got so many views and you can see all kinds of new things as you're going through.
Yeah.
And somebody asked what light this was, the Twin Star, right?
Twin Star. It's the Twin Star 900E. It has a decent PAR rating. I don't know the number right off the top of my head, but it's a great light. I guess it would put me in the upper medium to high highlight on this tank, which it doesn't even need that. Medium light would be just fine with everything I've got in the tank.
I love how it's got a clear cord too.
Very well built.
Oh, those tetras look cool on the camera here.
Are they?
Yeah, hopefully this saves up in HD. But see how that
Yeah.
reflection is? That's
Yeah,
cool.
those were wild caught. Came from a good friend of mine, Ryan from Kansas. Shout out Papa Rhino.
Yeah, Papa Rhino.
Shout
He's
out.
right there, said those Cardinals are fire.
Yep.
Papa Rhino, he's our man. All right, so, yeah, these are the three he's got in the main living room. And then with the other plants, we had, this was a Aereo. I thought this was cool.
I want to say Cedar Secum.
It's like all feathery.
But yeah, great texture. Just got that from another aquarist, well-known guy. But great looking plant. So 2 weeks in the tank and it seems to be doing well. Lots of new growth.
Then lymphnophilia, we mentioned that earlier in this stream. He may have missed it.
The fern down front.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh yeah, the wrinkled fern.
Yeah, kind of rare for what it is. The common name used for it right now is the India fern. The correct binomial name is not really known at the time. So
All right.
It doesn't get much bigger than that at all.
And that's a Japanese hydrocotyl too, as well.
The
Yep.
Aquacotyl Japan.
Then we got a bunch of the coral moss, if you missed it earlier, Luca. Then what is this small little running plant here and going through the middle? I love that little touch.
Man,
See that, guys? Some kind of menuda?
it is a Marsillier.
Or okay.
Granada, that's what it is.
There's all kind. I didn't realize how many of those Marsillias there really
There's
was.
quite a few. That's one of the smaller ones.
And as far as substrate, like, what are your substrates, real quick? Like, what's this substrate here that you're using for the white?
Just white sand. I purchased through Stone Creek. You can get that for it's kind of coarse, so it holds up and it doesn't really compact.
So what's your substrate of choice? Let me ask you that then. Like, I see you got a lot of, it looks like you're saying ADA, but is this ADA too?
This is the larger tank's a mix of ADA Amazonia and Brightwell, Rio.
So that's,
Rio Escurol. Great Aquasol. Lucas
actually uses
the Brightwell. It's great stuff. Plants root in it really easy, man. It's great for shrimp.
Love this sand. You got like different sand textures and colors going on here.
A little bit of work crushing a rock up and making a mess.
So ADA and Brightwell then.
ADA,
but this looks like just sand too. So
that's just
you do have like it all bunched back.
Yeah.
So you end up laying a lot into like what you want to see in the forward of the tank, and then for like your rooted plants and whatnot, you like to build up in the back.
I like the aquasol to be retained back behind the hardscape.
Okay.
Allowing the stem plants to use it.
See, you can see it really good in this tank, for example, of what we're talking about, and how he builds the ADA in the back and uses that, which is really nice. So it brings the scape. So when you're looking at it, you get more depth because you're kind of building the scape up and back, so you actually get a little more surface area and everything else.
Yeah, it climbs like 9 inches in difference from front to back.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful. All right, so let's check out some of these bowls you got too. So he's got all these crazy vases and bowls going on. I remember when we saw this last time, it was not this bushy. This thing is really gone crazy.
It's filled in quite a bit. The moss and the buca flanders taken off. The hydrocotyl as well. It's done really well in there. And the shrimp. Shrimp's done extremely well. I've been breeding very well on that one. And then you got the little one of your blues right in the front.
See one right there. Yep. Very nice. Looks like you got a
that's some more
brownish purple going on.
I started it.
Oh yeah.
I started the Granada in that tank and then moved it on because it was just extremely slow, almost wanting to die off. I think it needed better lighting. CO2 doesn't hurt. It does help it send runners faster because it is a slow grower.
Very cool. I love how you got the moss growing up and out.
Christmas moss, yeah.
Home wants to know, how often are the water changes on the bull tanks?
Every week, 50%.
Every week, 50%.
Every week
right.
I remove.
And how
50%.
do you usually do it? Use like a pitcher or something, or what's your technique there?
I'm old-fashioned, so I use the siphon.
Okay, so you do just siphon it. Well, your sink's right there too,
Yep.
so that's probably pretty handy.
Yeah, sink's right on the back
There
side.
you go.
I can go right into the sink, and any equipment that needs cleaned, I do that right there. So it's convenient.
And yeah, somebody asked, Infinite Awareness asked, do the shrimp climb out? I do notice you got it kind of high here with being rimless.
Yeah, I've only ever noticed in the 14 months that's been running, I've only ever found 3 shrimp outside of it, and maybe they were spooked and caused them to jump, or I'm not really for sure, but I don't lose a lot of shrimp. There's probably 100 to 150 shrimp in that bowl.
Yeah, there's a lot of space for them to hide. And Aquatic Moss says, how do you prevent the moss from molding? Do you ever come across any issue with that?
Mold on the moss?
Yeah, my guess would be from the...
Oh, from the top?
Yeah. You ever run across that?
I've never had a mold issue with it. I didn't use any specific process to attach it.
And I think the reason for this, for her question,
Mhm.
is see, when you get biofilm, notice he's got a hang on the back filter here. So it keeps the biofilm from growing up on him, up on that. So it keeps it from looking like it's growing mold, or gives mold the stuff to hold on to grow up. So I think that's a big reason why.
That's a big reason why I do the weekly water changes with these at 50%.
To keep the biofilm off the
I want
top.
to keep them down because there's not a whole lot you can do.
Yeah.
The middle bowl you can see does have some biofilm on it. It's a newer setup.
And as you guys can see here, he's just got desk lamps on. Like, this is just a normal desk lamp. What kind of bulb is that? Just a...
That's
a bright...
Cree
Cree?
LED.
Okay, it's a LED bulb. That's bright.
I want to think that's a 55K.
Okay.
And the moss loves it. Book of Philandra.
Where did he find the bowl? Yeah, where did you find that bowl? That's a cool bowl.
I can give Lucas, I can send Lucas a link and he can put it up.
Or just comment it on the video after we get done with this. How about that?
Absolutely.
That'd be the best place to put it. So look in the comments after this video, guys, and if you want to know where he got these bowls or that bowl or whatever, he's going to link it up for us, which is awesome.
We can leave it.
I love how you got all these succulents here, too. Those are very cool. It gives it a nice touch.
I don't have as many as I would like to have, that's for sure. I need to do a true, what do you call that, a vivarium or a paludarium?
Okay, yeah, with water and...
Yeah, that's what I'd like to have one of those for sure, with a living wall, and that would be...
That like's kind of neat. Is
that
anything special?
I couldn't even tell you the brand. I've got two of them, and they're 7,000K. And on a shallow tank, it will give you, I mean, it's highlight.
Yeah.
You could run.
I noticed you got it kind of way up off the
angling, and it helps with the succulents, and of course the little bonsai gets some more light there.
I love how you got this wedged out too, so there's a lot of space underneath for the shrimp.
Oh yeah, I'll see them back in there. Get away from the current a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I love this little guy. This thing's like, just to give you an idea how big this is. It's like not, my hand's bigger than that.
Yeah, probably.
Same with this.
Coffee cup.
This one's got some size on it though.
Yeah, you're like 6 gallons on the large bowl. Easily 6 gallons on the large bowl.
And you know, the extra little touches, the little rock to kind of blend in there. Gotta love that. Got the bonsai going. And yeah, I love this little thing. Got the coral moss, hydrocotyle.
It's kind of my little, I'll chuck different types of moss in there just to keep them.
Looks like you got it layered too.
Yeah, there's a thin layer of Tropica aquasoil in the bottom. I put that in there just for the hydrocotyle to send roots down into, so it could have the nutrients it needs.
They want to know, do you add fertilizer to your bowls? Or
Yeah,
just hang on the back filters and lights?
Once a week, and I use the Thrive products from Colin Grice. I use Thrive C.
So Nilo CG Aquatics, you guys know Colin Grice.
Yeah, absolutely quality.
That's who I get my ferts from. Ooh,
That's what I
shot.
use on all my bowls and most of my tanks actually. Great fertilizer. I never experienced any issues, but
He makes great plant food.
like I said, the bowls dosed once a week, right after a water change, and then 5.5 hour photo period. That's all I run on.
Yeah,
They
see.
don't need a whole lot of light.
That's so
Keeps the
awesome.
algae down, but the growth is, well, you can see the growth. Not a whole lot of trimming goes on. I don't spend a lot of time in them having to trim and prune, and that's part of the reduced photo period. So
5.5 hours, that's right. So photo period of 5.5 hours, guys.
and all the other
Can you
tanks-
believe that?
Yeah, all
And
my
that's
other tanks.
that's all the tanks, right?
The bowls are 5.5.
Okay.
All the other tanks are 6 hours.
6 hours, so you upped it up since last time I've been here.
So 6 hours is good. Works for me, may not work for others.
What about tabs? You use any root tabs or anything like that?
I have I have some of Nylock Aquatics. I
Whoa.
have his as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's developed a new root tab, and he's got a
Sorry, guys.
newer clay type that's pretty good. So the quality root tabs there, they've got the nutrients your plant's roots need.
Okay, so you do use
thrive.
them,
If you know some of the heavy feeders, Crips, the aqua soil does great, but it doesn't hurt to give them a little extra punch.
I'm kind of surprised to hear that you did. I may have to look into those. Just give my plants the extra punch, because these plants are punching really good. Look at this. It is punching straight up out of that water. Same with this one. Look at those.
Here, I'll turn the flow down so they can.
That's what you call plant punching.
And you can get a better shot of it.
And it says, how long do you run the CO2? So I'm guessing the whole photo period, or?
CO2 comes on the smaller tanks an hour and a half before my lights come on. And they go, and the CO2 kicks off an hour before my lights go out. And the whole purpose of that is, so when the lights kick on, you've got an abundance of CO2 for the plants to pull off, and they've got what they need. They've got the fertilizers, the nutrients they need, and they got the CO2. And the reason for kicking it off an hour early is that the tank burns through the residual CO2. So you're not experiencing any issues after the lights go out, and possible pH drops or things that might affect the health of the fish.
Right, so anytime you can take that human error out.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Absolutely.
So I've been doing it wrong.
Bump that.
I need to do that.
Oh, there's not.
I just usually run it with the photo period myself.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt to build it up, because it takes a while for it to build up to the proper. I don't know. I guess I shoot for about 32 parts per million. 30 is good. You want, what is that? About a 1 point pH drop, and what your water would be in before you started adding the CO2. So if you're at 7.2 without CO2, you would end up being 6.2 through the photo period with the CO2 on. And some people will ask, well, that fluctuation of pH, is that harmful to the fish? Well, not that type of fluctuation. It's not like I've just removed half the water and I've dumped put 20 gallons of extremely hard water in there, which would cause a shock, or so. Yeah.
So a lot of people in the comments have been saying how beautiful your tanks are, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I do. It takes a little bit of work, and being consistent. Like I said, water changes every week, 50% or better. Plants, fish love fresh water.
Now, do you have a regulator that you really like?
The CO2 Art makes an awesome regulator. They are located overseas, but their shipping times are great. I mean, very quick. You get it within a week. If you wanted, in price, you get a decent dual stage CO2 regulator for under 200. And that's probably the same quality as GLA. Not too bad. I started off with the Aquatech, and they're finicky. Milwaukee can be finicky. But if you know how to dial them in, you can handle the cheaper ones. But I wouldn't go any less than an Aquatech. And as far as your quality, CO2 Art is probably about the.
Yeah, I've never heard of those guys. I've never heard of those guys.
You can spend $600 on one if you want to.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Or you can spend $200 and get quality.
That's good quality, and I love these drop checkers you got here too.
A lot easier to read.
Now these, if you guys don't know what a checker is, this is a CO2 like drop checker, so it can actually measure the CO2 within the tank, and it can color code to you the amount of CO2 that's in there. So those are really handy if you're having troubles like trying to figure out if you're gassing too much or not gassing enough.
Yeah,
these are really good to kind of hone you guys in.
Like a lime green.
Yeah, lime green, that's what you want. The yellow is like a deficiency, right?
Yellow is you don't have enough. You'll hit lime green is going to get you about where you want to be. But then again, it's not the most accurate way to measure your CO2.
Okay.
After using gas for so long, I've learned to I watch my fish, and fish can they can withstand 30 to 40 parts per million CO2, provided you've got the surface agitation. And
Yes.
It's creating, it's allowing your gas exchange, and
Yeah, you got to take all that into factor, all the little things that you got to just kind of be mindful of, you know.
yeah, used to people would say, well, you're injecting CO2, you don't want to agitate the surface so much because you're losing it. Not necessarily. You can run a high bubble rate and still have plenty of surface agitation and still maintain that equilibrium between your CO2 and the O2, where your plants are getting everything they want, and then some, and your fish are healthy.
Where'd you get this at? This is cool, little extra to hold your tools on.
Hantron from Han Aquatics.
Okay, Han Aquatics. You guys may know Han Aquatics. I bought some plants from him.
Han.
Lucky old Han getting them free shout outs.
Sent it out to me. That's handy to have. Keeps all my tools right up near the tank where I need them, and that way I don't lose them so much.
All right, so now he's got more tanks over here in the bedroom. So you want to go ahead and go check those out?
Yeah, I say we check them out.
Let's do that. Like, he's got quite a few here, and they're all plain and looking sweet too. And actually, before we do this, I do want to show you guys what it looks like when you first walk in through the front door. So this is the view you get as you're coming into the casa of Michael Sizemore. So when you first walk in, this is what you see. So it's just like you're going to drop your jaw like almost instantly. You're just like, what?
Yeah, pizza guy loves
It's
it.
insane. Oh, yeah, I can imagine. The pizza guy's probably got like a million questions for you, don't he?
Yeah, Bob's to your door. He drops me a pizza every once in a while. And I gotta step in and check out your tanks.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah, come on in,
Inspire them, man. That's what it's all about. That's awesome. Oh, so and then here, got to do the walk-in too. Then this is the bedroom. So he's just sleeping around fish and tanks. So this is freaking awesome. This is my style. Check it out.
Six gallon, rimless, all low tech, no CO2, just light and regular FERT dosing.
Danny Adams in the house.
DA. What's up, bro, amigo?
What kind of light is this?
That's the Chai Heroes RGB LED fixture.
Okay, looks like it's working really well. And it looks like you've experimented with a lot of different light types, so.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Sometimes it does hurt because then you wasted money on something that.
Right, but you learn which ones worked best and stuff like that. And a lot of people are interested in that kind of stuff, especially when it comes to lights.
Yeah, the Chai Heroes, great lights for your nanos, up 20 gallons. They make larger fixtures, and they've got some newer ones coming out that are actually quite a bit better. The LEDs are better, better color rendition, and they don't run near as hot. These are just kind of lukewarm to the touch, not terribly bad.
Now, do you have a favorite light?
I would have to say it depends on what kind of tank I'm running.
Okay.
Like the large tank that we spent a little time on, that is a 90p by Landon. That one I like the Twin Star on that really well. Now, as far as my other tanks where I've got a lot of different types of mosses or bucophilandra, ferns, I really like the Mike Mole lights, the Aqua Air. I've had two of those. They're programmable. You can do a sunrise to sunset where it ramps up slowly and then ramps back down. Nice natural effect. And just like I said, purely programmable. It's kind of like what you want for what you're doing. There's all kinds of great fixtures out there that you can get. So. Okay.
And those surface skimmers, those are really helpful too.
Yeah.
You got a certain brand on those too?
The Azu.
The Azu?
Azu Skim 250. The clear ones are nice, especially if you got shrimp tanks, because they get sucked in. You can see them in there. and it's not harming them in any way because they're feeding off the sponge.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, oh
This
yeah.
stuff's getting pulled into your skimmer, and they get in there and they feed on it.
Which that's nice. And what he's talking about here is they got a sponge on the surface skimmer so the shrimp don't get all chopped up with the impeller.
Mhm.
See, normally this will have a piece that kind of floats up and down on the top of the
yeah.
water, and it takes all that biofilm off. And that's actually what will inhibit or cause a lot of algae growth and inhibit plant growth.
Yeah.
So
Limits your gas exchange.
it does it. It limits all that, and
Well, you can't get.
it kind of chokes things out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then over here we got just a couple wild jungles going on
This
here.
jungle,
Tiny little phoenix growing all this stuff.
yeah, it's this is just my no-tech tanks, I guess. You got
There you
low-tech,
go.
high-tech, medium-tech, I don't know. These are the no-tech. They get dosed once a week. But they're more for the fish. I'm not so much worried about the algae in them. But, you know, with this one, it's the Pistogramma Hansloy. There's a trio, male, 2 females. I've had those for, I don't know, I guess going on 3 years. Do really well. I never had a spawn, but that may be the females. One female might be snatching a spawn, you know, cat or eating eggs before they can actually even hatch. I'm not really sure. I haven't really tried to put much effort in spawning them. Great looking fish though.
Right, but just kind of keeping them hoping one day you'll look in there and be like, oh my God, yes.
Same water type that I do. All my tanks go into these tanks. They run on a 6-hour photo period too. And that's not, you know, that's it's consistent. It works for my schedule, for the amount of tanks that I've got, and I don't have issues with any of my livestock.
Yeah, Kendall Otter, he asked, does having a shrimp only mess with your cycle and you'll lose your cycle? So no, actually snails and shrimp will keep a cycle going in your tank, Kendall.
Just
So
some Malaysian trumpets in there. You know, good for your substrate. They just stir your substrate up. They help to negate your anaerobic pockets in the substrate that can form, which can be poisonous to your fish or shrimp. So
you got a Madagascar lace growing in
yeah,
here.
yeah, that Madagascar been in there for a while. It needs to be in a bigger tank. I'm gonna move it to the 40 when I.
What is this light? Is this a special light or just some desk light?
It's a Phoenix LED actually. It's a plant light.
Okay.
Made by Phoenix. They're just their base version clip-on. And it'll grow everything in that tank. Everything in there doesn't require a lot of light. Your crepes, your nubis, the moss.
And this, you got to show people this. This is really cool.
Oh, the little marine land
Yeah, this is cool, guys.
clips on the rim of the tank. I think
I've
they
never
still
seen a light like
manufacture 'em,
this.
But at the same time, they're made to sit just below the water level. You see how bright they're pretty
So
bright.
yeah, so this light actually sits in the water,
It clips on the
and
rim.
it climps up there on the rim. You just kind of
I'm blind now, so I can't see.
right. I know
That's
how
how
it is
bright
with
it
those
is.
LEDs.
There we go.
There you
Back
go.
on there, and it's
Then there you go, no lights. So if you had one on the front, one on the back, he was telling me one of his buddies does that, and it has like no lights. So you see no lights, but the tank's all lit up, which is like absolutely amazing.
Hidden
Right.
hides behind your rim when you look at it.
And you can tell it really works because the leaves will actually draw towards the light.
Those were, I think they were rated 65K or 7,000K. And the tube you can turn. You can rotate the. You can
Oh,
rotate
you
the
rotate the
You
tube to
can turn
kind
it
of
up, forward on the
direction.
tank, or you turn it,
That's nice.
or you can turn it down. You know, it's kind of. I try to angle it where it shoots towards the center of the tank.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool light. But you did mention that they were having issues with.
When they first came out, the tubes would leak. They would get water in the tubes that were protecting your LEDs, because obviously you don't want your LEDs in water.
Right.
And then it would cause the lights to short out. So I think a few people might have got shocked on that one. You know, so
Electrifying.
maybe I lost it. I don't know. But
Right.
They don't leak water anymore. At least the ones I have don't hold water.
That's good. And this is a nice sweet. And you said this is a newer scape, right?
Yeah, this one's right at a month old. It's been cycled, and I've got some real pretty blue shrimp in there via our boy here, Lucas, from his shrimp jungle at home.
All right, shrimp squad.
Well, dragonstone, ferns, all kind of low demanding plants in there. Even though I've got CO2 that I do add to the tank, I do dose CO2 to this one as well. But yeah, that's the Dinnerley Scapers tank, 10 gallon.
Okay.
I got that at AE last year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the rock too. I bought that while I was there too. When I grabbed it, and then the light on top is another twin star.
All right. And about how much is a little light like that?
That
Big
is the twin star. I want to think it's the 300T. It's all white LED. It's growing the plants good.
Yeah.
So it is quality. I think it was right at $100 for the light itself. Not terribly priced, but at the same time, it is a great fixture. That's 2 twin stars I have, and I would recommend them to anybody that wouldn't mind spending just a little bit of coin on some decent lighting.
And somebody wants to know, what's your favorite moss for shrimp?
Favorite moss for shrimp? I don't know. I guess maybe the coral moss.
Coral moss, really?
Yeah, the amount of surface area in there in the biofilm.
Yeah.
You got that much more food for them, and they constantly.
The only thing is that I don't think the bigger ones can get into it as much.
It gets pretty dense. You remember the rocks I had for AE last year, the big chunks?
Yeah, yeah.
And they were, I don't know, the size of a coffee can and probably 3 inches thick. Pretty solid. But yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe some Fontenot, some Fissidens Fontenot.
Yeah, the Fissidens
good. The fronds are larger, and they can work their way down into it too. So.
So once again, what was the name of that marine land light that clipped on? Real quick, do you know? So it's a marine land light. Just maybe type in on Google marine land light clip on light, maybe?
Yeah,
aquarium light?
I don't know if that would be a rim clip on, or I'd have to think about that because I've had this for 4 years, and you know, a lot of fish tank come and go on. A lot of plants have been grown and killed in that amount of time too. So I'll do a little investigation and I can find it. I can find it out for you if you're interested. So if they still make them, I'm pretty sure they do.
Okay.
It should be much better quality.
So maybe try Googling for it then. And this tank as well, this is kind of like your...
It's my catch-all for...
Catch-all?
It's coming down soon. I'm going to move everything into a 40-gallon breeder. The lighting, everything will come off this one. I want the space in here more than I want the tank right there. So, but plenty more space in the 40B, so I grow more plants. Get my ferns to grow out. I've got a bunch of baby ferns in there, whether it be needle or narrow leaf. Bucophalandra, a lot of nubus, some red tiger lotus in there too. I've had those, probably that same plant spitting off baby plants for the last 8 years, probably or so.
That's a beautiful Emperor Tetra.
A little.
The finnage and everything, yeah.
I had to pull him from the big tank in the living room because he was hyper aggressive with her.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, because I just had that one female. I had more at one time, but they like to jump, I guess. So end up losing them. Jumpers.
That's unfortunate, yeah. Them dang old jumpers.
Jumpers.
Well, when will fish learn they belong in the water, right?
Yeah, exactly. They don't last long outside of it.
Now, did you want to show these tanks?
Yeah,
Let's show
we
these
can.
tanks
Yeah,
too.
I
Might
mean,
as well.
nothing special.
Everybody's got to have closet tanks for, like, when you got all the nice tanks, you got to have the back room closet breeding space or QTs, you know?
Got the bristlenose breeding like mad in here.
So they are breeding in there?
Yeah, that's an albino and a solid I won't say that. I guess the other one's just a
I'm
the
trying.
common bristlenose pleco, I guess.
Oh
Just
yeah, I
brown.
see a tiny little smaller one up there
Oh yeah,
chewing on that leaf.
there's a lot of them. A lot
That's
of
the
them throughout the tank.
compacta. Is that the?
That's the hygrophilia.
Yeah.
Back to yeah.
It looks like that one with the big nosed one was down here. He was
Yeah.
crazy looking, but I'm not seeing him
he
now.
likes
I'm trying to find him.
He likes to stay hid up in there.
What is this? Is this a feather duster?
That is, yeah. So Uriel collard feather duster, yeah.
Nice.
That's a great background plant too. I've been holding on to that for a while. I want to grow that out and get some more different setups. So
I always wanted to grow that, but man, it can be tricky sometimes.
yeah, it's
It really loves its soft, acidic water.
I guess low light. I guess you consider that in there probably
Yeah.
for the lights that I have on there.
What do you have on there too?
Those are the older version of the Aquanites, I think.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Oh, I never got any like that.
65K LEDs. And these I just flip on. These are the only ones that I don't have timers for, and
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
still manual all this?
yeah, I just come in and flip them on when I'm doing my normal routine.
And like every other fish keeper, you've got your collection of this, that, and everything else. So this is how you know you've gone through experience of keeping aquariums. So it's when you start collecting everything that goes with it.
Oh, all my
I love
dry
that.
Yeah. fertilizers up here.
Yeah. So this tells people that, hey, this guy's been putting time into this. He's tried all kinds of
Or
stuff.
just don't know how to throw stuff away when you
Right.
still with it, I guess, or doesn't work.
Oh, well, you never know. Some of that stuff you're like, maybe I'll use it one day, trust
You
me.
gotta
And then
have
eventually one day you're like, okay. You throw it out and then you're like, oh crap, I needed that.
Yeah, you gotta have a spare part then, you know.
Right. These angels are really cool. Look at the eyes on them. I love the eyes on them. They're just like, hello.
The blue Pinoy angels,
Yeah,
oh, they're pretty.
they are pretty. I can't get my finger in there.
Yeah, they're hogs too.
They'll eat
all
me.
day long, like just about any angel.
Look at them. They're so cool.
That is
They're like, hello. Boom, 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 boom,
sixth
boom, boom, boom.
generation off the original parents. They're to the point to where I should probably add some new blood. You know, but I'm done. I'm done at this point trying to breed them. I've probably bred close to 600 of them.
Dang, that's crazy. And this is your QT tank, right? We were talking about this earlier. I'm like, dude, that's a pretty good setup to get some Ember tetras, yeah, and get them to actually spawn, because that moss is about perfect for them, because there's actually density within that moss that they can't really get into. So fry do actually have a chance to maybe live. Looks like some of the females are plump. Definitely looks like you got males and females going on in there.
Oh, it'd be nice to have some fry. That's for sure.
You said he's been keeping it warm too, so that would be cool if that happens.
Yep, absolutely. You'll love them.
Very cool.
Ember's got that great color. The red color worked really well with planted tanks.
Yeah.
They stick out. They really pop out against the background. You'll love those angels, though.
These things are photogenic.
Yep.
Yeah.
If Papa's watching, there's a group.
That's Papa's group, huh?
Papa's group right there. He's
All
one
right.
of them Pinoys back.
All right. Well, so there it is. There's the fish room tour. There's all of Michael's tanks. Any last questions before we hop off here? Let's get another gander at these front tanks too, just because, I mean, they're freaking sweet. But yeah, I think that, oh, and I gotta show you guys this too. Oh, he's got the driftwood over here. He got a real nice piece from Tom Barr.
Yep.
Actually, he was showing me this,
Yeah.
some of that manzanita from Tom Barr.
That's
Check out that piece. You got plans for this
That's,
going in a tank?
That's gonna go in a tank.
You just don't know what yet?
I don't know what exactly yet and where, but when you can get pieces like that, try to get them. You hold on to them till you come to a point you can use them.
Right.
Too nice to pass up.
And I love the reading material here. We got all the aquatic gardener stuff. Handy at your leisure while you're hanging out. You can read just some Amazonas. He's got the Takashi Amano 1 and 2. He was telling me there's actually 12 books of those. I didn't realize that.
Well, I think all in all, he's responsible for I think up to 12 books or more. Now I don't know about the aquatic series 100%. I don't want to give an actual number on that, cause I'll probably be wrong on the total number, but I know he's written several books.
Yeah.
Not all about aquatics.
Well, he's got, let's just say 12-ish maybe.
12-ish, maybe.
Yeah, that
maybe
sounds good.
30-ish.
There you go. Somewhere around there, he's got all kinds of books, but he's working on collecting
Yeah.
them. I'm like, that's pretty cool to be collecting those.
Such a
What's
great
his-
talent lost too early too.
Right, it's very unfortunate.
I mean, widely considered the father of.
Huge
Nature
inspiration. Yeah, huge inspiration of
I
it.
mean, I don't know a person that doesn't keep a serious planet tank or into aquascaping that doesn't respect the man for what he
Right.
gave to the hobby.
Says, what do you feed? Kevin Aquatics wants to know.
That is.
This is his biggest tank, Kindle.
A variation of the cobalt.
Okay, Cobalt, we got light here.
Yeah, we can.
Or well, here, let's just throw it underneath this light. Here, throw it underneath here. Here you go, Cobalt. This one's for you.
That's
Oh,
hard
maybe. I guess
to-
you can't.
Maybe there.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Cobalt. You can't use that picture though, Cobalt. You gotta hit Michael up first.
There you go. Yeah. Throw me
Yeah.
some fish food, would you?
So what kind of Cobalt? That's the brine shrimp
That's
flake.
the brine shrimp. Yeah, I've got.
Okay.
They've got. I don't know, a dozen or more mixes for freshwater.
Okay.
For your plecos or your tropicals, you name it.
All right. So any last questions, you guys? You wanna hop off here? You wanna? He's a busy man. We got things to do here. All right. So you wanna get on over here with me? All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, liked it. You got a YouTube channel as well.
I do, yes.
WaterForest Aquatics, WaterForest, one word, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yep. So check out his channel. He posts stuff up on there all the time, and then Facebook group. It's also
It's
WaterForest.
just WaterForest, one word, yeah.
So yeah, check his stuff out. He's got all kinds of friends in the hobby. He's been doing this for a long time, and freaking amazing work, dude. There's really,
I appreciate it, man.
it's hard
I
to
do.
put words to it, but yeah.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely amazing. So I hope you guys loved it. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, give it that thumbs up. I often forget to do it myself.
up.
Yep, thumbs up. And yeah, you guys know the rest to do. This is YouTube. Until next time, everybody, peace and love. Thanks for hanging out. It's been fun.